It's Friday, yay! First day of vacation, woo woo! Today I am going to talk about the ripple effect. And I was thinking about this last night and how each of us have an impact on the type of energy we give out with what we receive. Um, Last night was the travel night, and so we had a flight at 9, and we had, I'm not a light packer. A light packer. Just a second. Okay. I've never been a light packer, and so this time wasn't any different. Plus, the room that we're moving into today has its own kitchen, so I wanted to have enough food and like snacks, and I'm glad I did because I'll get to that. Anyway, ripple effect. We get to the airport, and my bag is super heavy, and with Southwest you can only have a bag up to 50 pounds. If it goes over 50 pounds, they give you the option of trying to lessen the weight, otherwise they charge you $75. And the woman at the baggage counter offered me this option, but I was like, thank you, I appreciate that, but I don't have anywhere to put it. And so as I was thinking about how things went last night, there were different areas where I could have been like, because the woman prior to that had helped me with my luggage tape thing, she like rolled her eyes at me because I did it wrong, and she was just like, let me take this, and I was just like, I just made a mistake, and so that could have put me in a bad mood. I could have chosen to allow that to put me in a bad mood. And so we get to the counter, and she's like, I got to charge you $75, and I was like, I don't really want to pay it, but what am I gonna do? I'm here, And so I said thank you, and I said, I told her there was nowhere to put it, and she was like, she kind of thought for a minute. She's like, well, I can sell you a bag for $25, and you can move it over because you get 2 bags free. Then you're only paying $25 instead of $75. I was like, right on. I'm more than happy to save $50. Let's do it. So she brought the bag out, and, we thanked her and got everything out, get on the plane. The security line was easy and flowing, and it was great. Then the flight before us was delayed, so we were originally at one gate, and then about 20 minutes prior to boarding, they send us to another gate, 8 gates down. 6 gates down. And so we start walking, right? And it's not really that far, but it's not close either. So we start walking, and we're almost to the new gate, and then they do another announcement over the speaker saying for us to go back to the first gate. And so, there's this big group of people, and they're like, we gotta walk back, and we're laughing because it was just like, well, where do we go, And then so we started walking back, and then we get halfway back to the first gate, and they tell us, no, we're supposed to be back at the second gate. So we got our steps in last night, to say the least. Fast forward, get to Seattle. My bags come out, no problem. Bags, because I have 2 at this point. And then they announce after, it's been going, we've been standing there, 15 minutes. And they announce Martin's name over the loudspeaker. Excuse me, Martin Lago. If we have a Martin Lago, you need to come to the security office. We have an important message for you. And we're both like, and I have flashbacks from when I was, doing things that I shouldn't have been doing and packing things in my bags that I shouldn't have been packing. And I was like, oh, what did you pack? Thinking, what's in your bag? And I think the most contraband we had in there was mangoes. And so we go to the security office, and they let us know that his bag is still in San Jose. So that was fun. We were like, well, okay, what happens now? And she was like, well, it'll be here tomorrow at 9. So I'm thinking we need to come back at 9. I'm like, okay, well, thankfully the race is until tomorrow. So, another trip back to the airport, fine. Still, and this was another point where I was like, this could have gone either way. We could have complained or, demanded something that, wasn't reasonable. As well as this poor woman who I'm sure she's been, we later found out that she's been talking to all these people who have been coming in unhappy because there was severe weather in different airports and cities, and so she's been dealing with grumpy people all night. So not only was she in a positive mood, we were in a positive mood. And, if it had been reversed, because there was another couple right next to us who they didn't even know where their baggage was. And because I was like, oh, that sucks. And then the woman next to me was like, well, at least you know where your bags are. And I was like, yeah, I guess that would suck even more. They couldn't track that. They didn't even know what plane, if any, their bags had gotten on. So I was like, yeah, it could be worse. And so I wrote down both their names, the one from the first counter and the second counter. And then I was like, so, we wanted to provide some feedback about our experience over in San Jose. And she kind of went, and then Martin was like, well, no, it's positive experience. She's like, oh, we rarely get those. You can go on Facebook. Here's the phone number, and so she was all excited. And then there was one more. Oh, so they're delivering the bags, which is great because, with the exception of not having a toothbrush and clothes to change in for the first couple hours, there's not really a big deal, but it could have been made into a big deal. And so then we get to the motel, which is essentially where we're staying just to sleep so that we can, because my reservation didn't start till today. It smells like cigarettes, and it smells like weed, and it's definitely a pass-through location. I'm trying to think of a positive way to say that, but, and again, but it's, what we came up with was that it's going to help us to appreciate the room that we're going into even more because we have that comparison. So, what am I trying to say? That the thought occurred to me last night that there's energy going around and around and around and around and around us. And we receive it, and then we process it in our own way, and we send it back out. And so for each event or situation or feeling, interaction with people, we have that choice of what we're going to put back out. We don't always get to choose what we receive, but once it comes through us, then that's we put our own little, how do people say it? We put our own little, and then send it back out. And so I encourage you to find different situations where, you have that opportunity to not continue the negative and maybe be that space where you get to turn something around and maybe make somebody else smile that wasn't having a good day, or show some appreciation when possibly that person has only been getting crap all day, and that's their job. I mean, they're kind of a messenger, well, in the airplane situation. And I don't know, see what happens. Let's be the change. Let's, and it was so nice, can I just say, to be traveling with somebody that had the same, if not better, personality, because I could have gone either way. But, he's pretty patient, and it was easy to jump on the positive bandwagon. So I appreciated that. And it's his birthday today. It's his birthday today. I was supposed to keep it a secret. So, if you know him, tell him happy birthday. And, so our race is tomorrow. We're excited. And I hope you all have a good Friday. And, yeah, be that change.